right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the wild card round. I'll fade this music a little bit. Another season in the bag. Another champion to be crowned soon. Solo right now, but Chris is going to be joining in a little bit, so we'll get the games underway. We'll play 4 games. If GMs are on and want to make changes between games 4 and 5, they can. But we'll finish up the wild card series tonight, and we'll get rolling on the division championship round tomorrow. Taking a look at our matchups. We've got a classic here, New Orleans Mudcats going to the Washington Generals. So our champions from 2014, they're going to have to go on the road here for the majority of the postseason if they want to repeat. They had a great season, 100 wins and 62 losses, just in a juggernaut division. That was good for third place in the Jade. And again, Washington sold at the deadline, but in a weaker Sapphire division, their offense was still good enough to hold second place, so they're going to get to host a playoff series here. We'll see how that one pans out. Next we have Tampa traveling to Las Vegas, and again, a 98-win team going to visit a 102-win team. This is anybody's matchup, series matchup. 5-7, 7-5, however you want to split it, was the season series between these two teams in favor of Las Vegas. And look at their runs scored, runs against, 4th and 3rd. 4th scored, 3rd against. On the other side, 3rd and runs scored, 4th against. So these teams are very evenly matched. We'll see how the series plays. Meanwhile, Galveston sneaking into the postseason. I think I mentioned this in chat. My surprise of the postseason is the Galveston Gremlins coming in. I thought they had a weaker roster this year, but they were still good enough to win 88 games. Average in runs scored, average in runs against, but again, got those W's and earned a postseason appearance against the the division winner in the Sapphire, the Somerville Moneyline, 99 wins this year, and they had the best offense in the Ice Conference in terms of runs scored and a pretty good pitching staff. So those are our Ice Conference matchups. On the Fire Conference side, we have the Louisville Rivermen traveling to Mexico City, our first ever expansion team to make the postseason. And as you can see, they did it with pitching, the number 1 staff in terms of runs against in the Fire. Not the best offense, but if their pitching can stay hot here in the postseason, they'll get maybe also the first series win by an expansion team in playoff history. And then, of course, the Rivermen been in the postseason a lot. They had a really nice season this year, and they're the hottest team entering the playoffs. I think they've won 13 straight. Is that right? 13 straight to end the season. So let's see if that carries over into round 1 or if Mexico City can slow them down a little bit. The Rivermen did win the season series 4-0. We have Milwaukee, a slightly weaker squad this year, but they were still active at the trade deadline, made some big moves, and they moved up big in the second half of the season, and they're going to be going on the road to Oklahoma City, who a very dangerous team, 102 wins here in the Fire Conference this year. Really good offense and defense, offense and pitching, excuse me. And then again on the other side, again, Milwaukee pitched really great this year and had a kind of a mid offense, but still at the end of the postseason, year in and year out. And then last but not least, we have Vancouver going to Oahu. Vancouver GM change at the end of the season this year. So Chris, this is going to be his first taste of the postseason. And really, he's only been in charge of the team for a couple sims, and he's going to travel to face my team, and I'm hoping for good things. We'll just leave it at that. These two teams split the season series 6-6, so it's really up to anybody. And welcome, Chris. I think you're with us now, right? Very cool. Take a look at our broken visual for the playoff tree. Missing Oahu at the bottom. Just to the breakdown on all the teams. Missing Somerville at the bottom there. So, yeah, I think we're ready for game 1. Stat Plus up and going. Oh, you know what I should do? I almost did this a few seasons ago too. I should pull exports. Just get all excited to get started. Forget the basics. All right, let's do this. All right, here we go. Mudcats and the Generals first to start. What are your thoughts on the playoffs? Who's going to win? I saw someone say Fort Collins in chat. It is Fort Collins this year. I'm going to be confident and I'll say Oahu. So I'm going to take my guess right off the board there. All right, fair enough. I I wouldn't mind seeing Mexico City go deep just as the expansion. Milo Koljevec, solo homer. Puts Washington on the board first. Koljevec, we haven't talked about this guy, but look at him right here. 65 of 80, 23 years old. He's a rookie. I'm pretty sure Steve mentioned him as Rookie of the Year candidate. Go, go vote, folks. Go vote. Seth Comparo, yeah, 2-run homer. So Tampa at Las Vegas. That's going to be again a matchup of two juggernauts. 98 and 102 win team. You know, saying New Orleans 100 wins this year in third place in the third place in the division. Yeah, they tied up 1-1 against Washington with a Bill Dubs single. Galveston and Somerville started, and Louisville, Mexico City underway. Sean Hall, solo home run in the second for the High Rollers. They get one back. And Washington regains the lead on another Koljevec hit. He singles in Chaffin. 2-1 in that game. Milwaukee on the board first as that game started in the first. Jose Hernandez singles. I am curious. I feel like these two teams have played a couple times in the last few postseasons, Milwaukee and OKC. Las Vegas ties it. Brian Sack triples, driving in Perone. 2-2 in the third. You'll have to do that as background work, my friend. I can't look here. Bill Dubs doubles. Second RBI of the game, driving in Brightwell, and that's 2-2 again, back in the fifth. Galveston first on the board in the Galveston-Somerville game in the fourth, scoring on a pass ball. Yeah, I bet if you keep going back, they played again once or twice more. I feel like they've seen each other a few times. Yeah. So 3 and 4 years. Galveston adds two more. Rick shoots doubles, driving in Gonzalez and Quinones. And Mike Wallace with a bases loaded walk gives the Mudcats the lead 3-2 in the fifth. Looks like Galveston gets another on a pickoff error. An error on a pickoff attempt. So 4-0 in the fourth in that game. 1-1, OKC ties it up as Cartini singles. That game in the second. Tampa 3-2 on top of Las Vegas now with a BJ Short triple. And then Paul Reeves puts Oahu on the board first. They're up 3-0 in that game with a big 3-run homer in the second. Colin Shevlin singles, drives in another run for Tampa, so they extend that lead 4-2. All 6 games running now. I was locked in. I didn't even see my own game. It started. I was. I didn't even know it was going. Paul Reeves is my backup center fielder. My main guy's injured. Colin Shevlin's, Charlie Brumett singles, driving in Gunter, and Washington ties that game 3-3 in the bottom of the sixth. Four to three, Mudcats. Yida Lim, solo home run. This is his first year after being a free agent signing, international free agent signing. He's had a really nice season. I know he was on the leaderboard for stolen bases this year in the Ice Conference. Pretty sure he got paid like $45 million or something. Really big contract. That's Yida Lim. Jeff Freeman's gonna. Yeah. Washington's Jeff Freeman leaves the game with an injury. We'll have to check that out after. Mike Shane leaves the game with an injury. I don't know how we missed that. Starting pitcher for the Mudcats, and he's going to be out for 1 week, minimal for 1 week. Jabari Alexander, starting pitcher for OKC, injured, and that is 8 weeks. He's done for the postseason. That's brutal right there for Travis. Mike Petrina solo home run makes it 4-0 for Oahu, and Louisville had extended the lead 2-0 on a Christian Webb two-run homer in the sixth to break that scoreless tie, but Mexico City ties it up in the bottom half. Ron Blackwell, two-run home run. So, runs and then a response in that game. Tied 2-2 in the seventh. Six outs remaining for the Generals at home. 6 outs remaining for the High Rollers as well. Two-run homer by Louisville now. Matt Weissman puts them back on top 4-2 in the seventh. Meanwhile, the Gremlins extending the lead on Somerville. 5 and then 7-0. Chris Miller, solo home run, makes the 5-2. Rivermen pouring some runs on now. Park double and a Ruska single, 7-2. Meanwhile, Las Vegas ties it up in the bottom of the eighth. Matthew Taylor double drives in two, and they take the lead on a Sheldon Hall single. So 3 runs, bottom of the eighth, to turn that game around. Vancouver on the board against Oahu. Elijah Adam, two-run double, driving Rollins and Rayner. Mike Wallace single, extending the lead in the ninth for the Mudcats. They've got a 2-run lead with 3 outs left in that game, and Milwaukee takes a 3-1 lead on a Ray Main double. Armendariz and Worthington are going to score, and they've taken the advantage there. Tampa Bay ties it in the ninth. Greg Gross solo home run. So more drama in that game. Paul Reeves singles, 5-2 Oahu, extends the lead in the sixth. Another big hit for Paul Reeves, 4 RBIs on the game. Paul Baker singles, driving in another for Louisville. Meanwhile, an injury for OKC, Kevin Pysick. We'll have to check that one out too. Bascom doubles. Galveston and Louisville putting exclamation points on here. Mudcats have wrapped up the first game of the Game 1, 5-3 with a road victory over the Generals. Las Vegas walks it off. Bottom of the ninth, Matthew Taylor doubles. He had 2 giant hits in this game. He went 3 for 5. He's another guy we've got to start talking about. First baseman here. He gets some clutch hits to get them a win at home and steal one from Tampa, who had a 4-2 lead in the eighth. Vancouver gets one. Chase Rollins singles, driving in Resendez. It's 5-3, 2-run game now in the seventh. Final. No other finals, but final soon, and Galveston's up 10-0 in game 1. Roland Bale solo home run. 6-3. Maybe some momentum going into game 2. Milwaukee is a final 3-1. And Louisville wraps that one up. A bunch of runs in the ninth by Mexico City, but too little, too late. Same with the Galveston Somerville game. Meanwhile, Oahu up 7-3 in the ninth here. Bases loaded. Vancouver gets one and a grand slam, and they take the 8-7 lead in the top of the ninth by scoring 5 runs. That is brutal. Eric Gilbride, I think he's the MVP last year and this year. Mike Petrino leaves game with an injury for the Paddlers here, top of the ninth. And a 2-out double, Tom Schwartz. Last chance for the Paddlers in game one. They can't get it done, so an amazing comeback on the grand slam by Eric Gilbride gives the Vandals game one on the road. We've got, how many? 5 road victories there? 5 road victories in game ones? It sounds like Chris's audio isn't working, so I'm going to try to fix that real quick. We'll go on with game 2.
How am I doing now? Let's see. I got the audio going right now. We'll find out. Oh, yeah. I'm good. Oh,
All
you should have
right.
heard it. You should have heard me giving it to him. Giving him the business when he lost.
Here we go. Game 2 is long road ahead for all the teams. Hopefully.
True. That is very true.
Hopefully. 4 games can go quick. Tampa
BJ
Bay.
Swart.
Yep.
BJ Swart. Ever since he said that, I cannot think that about BJ Swart. Galveston, 3-0. Jay Meeker, 2-run homer. Maurice Barksdale with a single and a Greg Olson ground out, with Tampa taking a 3-0 lead here in the second inning. 4-0 now. Mike Cerna.
Yeah, Galveston coming out on fire here in the postseason.
All these names are fuzzy, so I'm going to call them how I see them.
Why you Yee hits a solo home run. 4-1 gets one back for the High Rollers. Louisville with that win game one. That's 14 straight wins now. Mexico City looking to change that 1-0 lead. Aaron Briggs singles. Driving in Guzman.
Jordan Alvarez, triple. 6-1 Tampa.
All right, 2-run homer for Vancouver in the first. Carlos Ruiz gets things started. I'm telling you, between Gilbride and Ruiz, Vancouver's a scary team.
Man, Vancouver, I picked him in game one. Nobody could hear me, but I said Vancouver's winning it all. You can be my witness. Didn't you say it? Didn't I say it?
You did say that. We'll see if it happens.
Yes.
Jamie Font singles. Brian Lloyd singles. Andy Morse grounds out. Doug McGuire reaches on an error. That's a quick 4-0 lead in the first for New Orleans. Meanwhile, Somerville on the board with 2 runs on an Art Sabe.
I will say, Paul, I might be a tad bit loud. Just a touch. That's just a touch.
All right. Chris Ruska, sac fly, Park scores. And that game's tied at 1 in the fourth as the Rivermen get on the board. Washington, meanwhile, gets on the board with a Jamie Sturmer single. So both teams scoring here early in that game. Jaden Baskin doubles. Horacio Flores singles. 2 runs for the Gremlins, yeah. Extend that lead 5-2, and then a Knowles double makes it 6-2 in the fifth. So they've got a nice 4-run cushion now. Vancouver, another run by Carlos Ruiz makes it 3-0 in the third over the Paddlers.
Paddlers answer back, though.
Yeah, Paul Reeves, another 2-run homer, so he remains hot.
He's your MVP right now.
Washington on the board, 4-1, now 4-3 after Hersey triples and then fast singles. Jason Bassett, 3-run homer. brings the High Rollers right back into that game. 6-2, now 6-5. And Somerville with a solo homer gets a little closer to the Gremlins. 6-3 in the fifth.
I'll BRB.
This guy looks good, this rookie, Jason Bassett. My goodness. Jalen Boyd, solo home run. We covered that, but Jalen Boyd, solo home run, 6-3. New Orleans with a Bill Dubs single makes it 5-3, and then make that 8-3. Jamie Font's a giant 3-run homer. That gives the Mudcats a pretty commanding lead here in Game 2. Already up 1-0 on the road. Santoyo, sac fly, gets another one back for the money line, and they scratch away at that Gremlin lead. 6-4 in the sixth.
Anything crazy happen while I was gone?
Nothing crazy, some close games. Mudcats had a big 3-run homer. It's no longer close. Las Vegas ties it up and then takes the lead in the seventh on Tampa. Another kind of late comeback here for the High Rollers. Bassett sac fly and then a Sean Hall single. Meanwhile, Galveston extends that lead. 7-4. Ricky Quinones doubling in Gonzalez. Manny Galindo, solo home run in the bottom of the seventh, puts the Chupacabras up 2-1 late in that game. Milo Koljevec, solo home run, gets one back for Washington. That game's only in the fifth. Generals definitely aren't out of Game 2 yet.
So you're saying there's a chance?
They did have one of the top offenses.
They did.
Art Sov, singles, driving in Boyd. That's going to make it 7-5. And the money line just keep chipping away. Will they get there?
Somerville ties it up. 7-all.
They do. 2-run home run.
Vancouver says, suck on that, Oahu.
Eric Gilbride, 3-run homer. Their dynamic duo is just crushing me. Brian Lloyd singles and Mike Brightwell singles, extending the Mudcats lead, but the Rivermen, bases loaded, 1 out. They're threatening here against the Chupacabras. And they get the lead. 2-run single, Chris Ruska. Flipping the script late in that game. Jay Meeker, singles, driving in Roan. That gives Galveston the 8-7 lead back. They have the bases loaded too, 2 down. Quinones strikes out swinging, so they get the lead run. That remains an 1-run game with 6 outs left for the money line. Milwaukee extends the lead 3-0. Excuse me, takes the lead 3-0. That game was scoreless in the 8th. It's just like completely under the radar right now. But a 3-run double by Luis Chavez gives them the lead late, and they might take a 2-0 series lead on the road. Final in Las Vegas, they take a 2-0 series lead at home with the comeback win against Tampa. Came back again in Game 2 and got the win late. And Mexico City and Louisville's the final. Louisville turned that game around late and takes a 2-0 series lead. Galveston extends the lead 9-7. Atilio Gutierrez, solo home run in the 9th. 3 outs left for the money line. You might be looking at 4 road teams with a 2-0 series lead. 5 road teams, Vancouver.
Incredible. Last out for Oahu.
Bases loaded, 1 out for OKC here, down 3-0.
It's a ball game for Oahu. Vancouver, 6-2.
OKC gets 1 on a sac fly. Tying runner at first, but that does it. Milwaukee shuts him down and takes a 3-1 win to a 2-0 series lead. Meanwhile, 4 outs left for the Generals. No split series after 2 games unless something crazy happens over there.
Insanity. 7-run, bottom of the 9th.
Well, it could happen, as we just saw with Vancouver.
It's true. He's just lucky to play an inexperienced playoff team in Oahu. Although, did you make it last year? You did make it last year.
I think I've been there 2 of the last 3, yeah.
2 of the last 3.
Koljavec, 4th hit of the game. Not going to be enough, though. Mudcats offense all over the Generals pitching staff this game. That'll do it. Game 3.
Get it going. Somerville, Galveston. This is a must-win for Somerville. They're all must-wins now.
Do you think anybody's going to come back from this, or are we looking at 6 champions right now, up 2-0?
Champions, I would say.
Round winners.
We could do the Squid Games elimination. They have been eliminated. It's possible. Have we had a 3-0 comeback? I know my team did years back.
I don't know.
Came close, but it didn't do it. Against the mighty Huron.
Definitely seen
Huron
some 3-1s, but Ron Blackwell singles. Teo scores 1-0 Mexico City. Nothing Galveston. William Gonzalez hits solo home run in the second.
William Gonzalez, solo homer. Galveston, 1-0. Cartini with a 3-run homer as well. For Oklahoma City, taking a 3-0 lead here in the second inning. Galveston gets a couple runs here quick in the third, extending their lead 3-0.
Oahu up 1-0. Second inning home run by Aono. I feel like Galveston. Well, look, how did they end the season?
They just keep extending their lead too, 5-0.
They've been on fire, just like Louisville. Both those teams have been just like in fuego down the stretch.
If you got to be hot any time in the season, no better time than now.
I guess it's not fair to put them in the same category. They won 6 of their last 10, and Louisville's won 15 straight games. Tampa Bay 1-0. Baby Shark solo home run.
No, it's not Baby Shark. It's BJ Swart. Do.
Bill Worthington sac fly gets the Mobsters on the board, 3-1. I believe in Oklahoma City because they have Justin Marshall. Oh, you know what I mean? You can just tell he's a champion, Chris, right?
Who, Justin Marshall?
Yeah, from the moment you look at him, you can tell he's a champion. That's why. Bill Worthington sac fly gets the Monsters on the board. Justin Shoemaker doubles, driving in Sturmer. That's the first run of the game in that matchup. And the wild pitch makes it 2-0, so Washington gets the early lead. New Orleans responds with a solo home run by Brian Lloyd, making it 2-1 in the second. Las Vegas responds to Tampa's early lead and gets a 2-1 lead on 2 home runs. Bassett and Hall both hitting solo home runs. Park is leaving the game with an injury for Louisville. The Korean Kong.
That's not good. That's not good at all.
2-run homer for Blackwell makes it 3-0 Mexico City. Now they extend that lead. Tampa flips that game. They now take a 3-2 lead on a Greg Gross double. Meanwhile, the Mobsters tied up 3-3 in Milwaukee with a 2-run double by Armendariz. So they erase a 3-run deficit. 5 no-hit innings for Matt Terrell. Still 1-0 down in Vancouver. The game's quiet. Cole Schubeck solo home run.
He's quiet.
Generals
You don't
lead
look
3-1.
at
Don't look at it. Yeah, exactly.
You don't look at it.
2-0.
Really
Paul Reeves with his 3rd home run of the postseason. This guy had 2 home runs all season in 200 at bats, so that's fun. 6 no-hit innings now by Matt Terrell. Matt Terrell is really good. I didn't know this guy till right now. Looks like he's a rookie.
Vancouver answers.
He's got my attention now. Vancouver does answer. Roberto Ramirez solo home run 2-1, and Washington extends that lead with a 2-run double. Zachary Fast. Flores makes it 7-0 now in the 7th. Galveston is just all over the money line.
They got the money line correct.
Jay Meeker, 8-0. 4th home run of the game for the Gremlins. Greg Gross sac fly makes it 4-2. Tampa getting a little insurance in the 4th. Louisville's got a runner on first. Still no hits. And there's a hit. Pete Robinson, 2-run home run. Cuts that lead to 1 run. It's 3-2 now. John Lopez triple puts the money line on the board in the 8th, but they're going to need a miracle to win that game. Rick Moore leaves the game with an injury for Louisville, so another injury for the Rivermen. Ryan Roach triples. Thomas and Avalos score. Avalos. And maybe they're getting that miracle. Nobody out here in the top of the 8th, and it's now 8-5.
Don't call it a comeback, says Somerville.
They have the tying run at the plate.
Crazy
Roberto
things have
Ramirez,
happened.
3-run homer for the Vandals, and they take a 4-2 lead there. His 2nd home run of the game.
Incredible,
Mexico-
Vancouver.
Mexico
Just
City
incredible.
sends that lead 4-2. They have bases loaded, and they're threatening. They get 2 more on a Jose Guzman single, making it 6-2. 4th hit of the game for Guzman. Matt Reed single makes that game 7-2. And they've got a pretty good lead, which they probably are going to need with the way they've been blowing late leads to the high rollers in this series. So Somerville gets 6 back. 8-0 becomes 8-6. They're going to have one last chance in the top of the 9th to avoid a 3-0 deficit. Joe Ellen grounds out. It's going to drive in Barrett. So 4-3 now. Vandals still on top. Bases loaded, nobody out for the Gremlins, trying to add insurance after the big inning by Somerville. They get one on a Bascom single. Kabul Cartini singles for the Oklahoma City Outlaws, and they take a 4-3 lead in the 9th. Big hit there for Cartini. Trying to change the dynamics of that series. 2 on, nobody out for the money line.
We're going to get some puppy
And
commentary here.
3-run double by Matt Clark ties that game 9-9, 8-0 to 9-9 all of a sudden. Amazing. Meanwhile, we have a final in Louisville. Mexico City wins on the road 6-3, and that's the first win by an expansion team in the postseason. And they get one back, so they're down 2-1 in that series. And really, again, changed the dynamics compared to a 3-0 deficit. Meanwhile, bases loaded, 1 out for Vancouver, bottom of the 8th. But 9-9, can you believe that shit?
That's so funny. It was just like so excited. 1 out, 3 on Vancouver.
That's an insane comeback.
Yes,
OKC Outlaws take Game 3 as well, 4-3. So they've got their first win of the postseason, and they change the trajectory of that series. And then Vancouver here pouring it on a little bit in the 8th. Then Dennis Campbell walks with the bases loaded, and then a wild pitch scores Ramirez, 6-3. 3 outs left for the Paddlers. Meanwhile, 3 outs left for the Mudcats. We haven't talked much about that game, but Washington trying to stay alive. And 2 on, 2 down for the High Rollers. They're down to 4 outs. Some kind of record in New Orleans. Two down, tying run at the plate for the Paddlers, and they can't get it done, so they're going to be facing a 3-0 series deficit to the Vandals. 2 on, 2 out, bottom of the 10th for the Gremlins. Washington wins. Bases loaded now. But Malik Knowles strikes out swinging, and that's going to put us to the 11th. Tampa extending their lead 9-3 in the 8th on a Mike Cerna double. Morgan Fickett go 9 innings for Washington. Quite the performance from a journeyman reliever here. 29 years old, Morgan Fickett. This guy was part of a lot of mobsters' playoff appearances. Todd Luttrell leaves the game with an injury. I'll drop a complete injury report after this next game, not after Game 3. Two on, nobody out for the High Rollers, and they cash in. Miguel Gayton sac fly, scores Taylor. But that's going to do it. Tampa takes Game 3, and they get their first win of the series. Seems like I'm saying that a lot here in Games 3, except for the Oahu-Vancouver matchup.
Do we get to get our first series? Are we going to see a first ever comeback from a 3-0 series? Can Oahu do it?
I like your optimism.
They have it in them.
I like your optimism.
I mean, here's your shot to make history in the big league.
12th inning here for the Somerville-Galveston matchup. Somerville really needs a win. They've got a man on first with 1 down. First two runners are on for the Gremlins in the 12th. Bascom at the plate, 2 for 5 on the day.
Got some extra innings here in Game 3.
Flores now, and double play induced. So on to the 13th we go. And there's the go-ahead run. Ryan Roach, big solo home run here in the 13th. Let's see if the Gremlins can respond. Malik Knowles leading things off, bottom of the 13th. And they do. Malik Knowles solo home run.
They say they want more extra innings.
More baseball, please. Second home run of the game for Malik Knowles. And Jimmy for fly pitch, and that's going to do it. William Gonzalez, 2-run homer, and the Gremlins say no. They take a 3-0 series lead on the money line, and
so we
really
got
make that window small.
We got 2 chances for people to make history. I bet Somerville's got a better chance than Oahu. They just don't, Oahu just doesn't have that dog in them, you know?
Yeah. Where's your team this year?
We lost in game 163 to Vancouver. I can see why. I mean, that team is just incredible right now.
Yeah, I could see them going on a long run. All right, here we go. Game 4s. Paddlers, money line, both backs against the wall. Mexico City on the board first. 1-0. Jamie Lindahl tripling in Frank Mateo. Two nothing Mexico City now. Manny Galindo singling in Jorgensen. Roland Bale, 2-run home run in the first for the Paddlers. They take a quick 2-0 lead with nobody out in that game.
Trying to make this a respectable series, you know? Las Vegas. Solo homer. I'm going to butcher his name, but it's Miguel Gayton. That's what I'm saying. It's very fuzzy on my end. Dennis Campbell gets 1 run for Vancouver. They cut down that lead in half, 2-1. Wahoo and Somerville starting off strong, 2-0 with a Matt Clark 2-run homer, and Fred Cox for Milwaukee gets a single, making it 1-0. Go Gayton again. He got hit by the pitch this time though, so ooh. But scores a run, taking one for the team. 2-0 Vegas.
And Eric Gilbride singles ties that game up 2-2 in the third.
Chad Keys, 2-1 homer. Washington up 2-0.
Dusty Ward singles 2-1. Tampa on the board in the second. Galveston scores as well. William Gonzalez solo home run. Has been on fire this series. Third home run for Gonzalez. Vancouver takes the 3-2 lead on a sac fly. Michael Rayner.
Is it Casey? Kazi? Singles? Either way, Vegas on a rampage. 7-1 over Tampa.
5 quick runs there. Somerville solo home run makes it 3-1 in the fourth, and the bases loaded, nobody out for the Mudcats against the Generals there. And the Generals get out of the jam without any damage. Big inning there for Washington. 4-1, OKC takes the lead on a Kyle Bailey grand slam. They had been quiet for 6+ innings. Bailey lights up the scoreboard on the road. Matthew Taylor solo home run. Sending that lead 8-1, and the Generals getting an insurance run after escaping the jam. They're now up 3-0, and they're threatening more. Milwaukee scrapes one back. Chavez with a solo homer in the bottom of the 7th. This team's been deep several years. They're tough to put down. Generals get another one, 4-0. Double steal by the Mobsters, and they get one on a sac fly, small balling their way back, 4-3 now, and make it 4-4. Ray Main singles. We've seen this show before. Meanwhile, Tampa getting a couple back, 3 to be specific, on a Dust Award double, and then a Maurice Barksdale 2-run homer, 8-4. That game's still in the 4th, so anything can happen there. Elijah Adams singles driving Campbell. That's a 4-2 game now in the 6th. Time running out on the Paddlers season. Pat Perrone singles, extending the High Rollers' lead. Mexico City quietly shuts down the Rivermen 2-0 in Game 4, and they tie that series up 2-2. I won't lie, I wasn't even really watching that game down in the corner. Just kind of had escaped to me. But Dan Bublitz went 7 innings pitched. It wasn't enough. He gets the loss. Vecino gets the win. Melvin Vecino, 7.1 innings, just 3 strikeouts, but no runs. Miguel Gayton, second home run of the game, 2-run homer. Las Vegas pours it on, and Galveston ties it up in the 6th with a 2-run homer. That's now 3-3. Ricky Quinones. Chad Keys, meanwhile, helps New Orleans get an insurance run. Washington get an insurance run over New Orleans. It's a
Milwaukee
final.
walks it off.
Yeah, Milwaukee with a walk-off solo home run over OKC in Game 4. Carl Symington.
And
So
Wahoo's down to their final 2 outs, and they get one back with a David Brobeck solo homer. So down 1 with 2 outs. Wahoo says, "Not yet. We are not done." And they get one guy on. Who's on? Esparza. Ano strikes out looking, so down to 1 out. And it's a ball game. Vancouver wins 4-3 over Oahu.
another lost season. I agree with Steve. I'm selling everybody. Bill Dubbs solo home run. 5-1. Mudcats are on the board. 3-3 in the 9th right now. Somerville, their season's on the line here too, right? Can't lose sight of that. It's a really close game. The only close game we have left really at the moment. Although the Mudcats aren't dead yet. Bottom of the 9th for the Gremlins. Solo home run for Koljevic. Extra innings again in Galveston. 3-3 we go. New Orleans gets one back in the 8th, 6-2 on a Gabriel Munoz triple, and another one on a Brian Lloyd groundout. So they've cut that lead down to 3. Hey Chris,
Yo,
do you remember who I picked to win the championship?
I don't.
It was Oahu.
Did you pick? You did pick Oahu, didn't you? You're going on your high in the beginning of the season. I gave you credit too, didn't I? Did I pick you? I picked you winning the division.
I think so.
Did I pick you going to the big game too and losing it?
I don't know. Yadi lives solo home run in the 9th, makes it 6-4, but that's going to do it. Washington takes game 4, ties it 2-2. 2 on, 2 out for Somerville in the 11th right now.
I mean, it was either going to be me or Vancouver that was going to wipe you out in 4 games, so I'm glad Vancouver got it done too. So.
Final in Tampa, Las Vegas takes a 3-1 series lead. Bottom of the 11th we go. Gremlins get out of the jam. William Gonzalez doubles, leads with 1 out here. Now first and third on a single for Flores. Galveston's got a dangerous offense. And the money lines stay alive. So 3-3 on to the 12th. At least 12 innings to settle this one for the second straight game. Last one was settled in the 13th. On a wild back and forth exchange. We'll see how this one ends. Leadoff runner on, Rick shoots. The Gremlins in the bottom of the 12th. Pitcher Mark Brown strikes out looking, and Bascom, the runner advances on a pickoff throw, and Bascom singles, so first and third, 1 down now. And that's going to do it. Malik Knowles grounds into a fielder's choice, but it's going to be enough. And the Gremlins finish the series sweep, and they win 4-3. So the last 2 teams in on both sides, the 7 seed, the 3rd wild card, both sweep the division winners in the Sapphire and the Ruby. Speaks a lot for our conferences again this year.
Incredible.
Take a look at the series MVPs real quick, and then we will drop the file for anybody that wants it, or get some thumbs up, or
So we did it different.
if anybody's on, they can make changes. But what I'm trying to say is we'll continue in 10 minutes.
I thought it was a half hour. Can't remember.